TVENE, thank you very much for joining us on the i2i podcast today. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much. How's your summer been so far?
It's been pretty good. I'm on vacation right now, so it's pretty good.
Very nice. Have you been training at all, or have you just kind of taken most of it to relax and recharge?
The first couple of weeks I didn't train much just to get a break from it, and then I started training every day since
Good answer. Chris will be happy with that.
then. I'm sure he will. He already has texted me about it, so
He'll definitely be listening to this as well. So we're recording this a day after the Lionesses' historic Euros win over Germany at Wembley. So we've got to start with that. Did you manage to watch it all, and what did you make of it all?
I did. I watched the entire game. It was such a good game.
I hope you were cheering on England.
Yes, I was.
It was a really physical game as well, wasn't it? Really physical from Germany, especially.
It was, especially towards the end because they were getting frustrated.
Mm-hmm. How big of an impact do you think this will have then for women's football in England moving forward?
I think it would be huge, especially from the crowd that they got at Wembley. I believe it was just under 90,000 people. Yeah. So I believe it's crazy. Like, to imagine that many people at a women's game, especially in Wembley, that's iconic, historic. That's gonna move women's football to a different level.
Yeah, can you believe there was 89,000 people in Wembley for a women's game?
It's unbelievable. There wasn't that much when we went to the Chelsea and Arsenal game for one of the cups or something, and there was at Wembley in London, and there was not that much at all.
Wow. So is playing in England an ambition of yours then? After graduating, do you want to kind of play in England?
I do, because it definitely has more opportunity than I do in America. So being in England is an honor. It is insane. And continuing my football career in England, I just can't wait for.
So moving on to being obviously going back to how it all started for you then, can you remember kind of what inspired you to take up football when you were younger?
My dad did. He played football when he was younger, and he put all his kids in football. But I guess it stuck with me because for me, my dad's passion show through football. So I mean, I kind of saw that, and I grew my love for the game, and then it's been like that ever since.
So has football always been number one for you, or were you kind of interested and involved in other sports as well growing up?
I was also involved in basketball, but at one point in my life, I believe it was my freshman year of high school, I had to pick between basketball and football, only because in California, football and basketball are in the same season, and you can't play two sports in the same season. Okay. So I had to pick, and I was like, okay, well, football's going to get me further. So I was like, and I loved football way more than I loved basketball.
Oh, good choice. You mentioned your dad a minute ago. Just how important has your family been to your football journey?
Oh, they've been huge. Having their support and their support is unbelievable. I probably couldn't do what I do today without them.
So fast forwarding somewhat then, how did you first hear about i2i? Was it through an ID clinic or was it a different way?
I was a part of NCSA. Not sure if
Yeah, I've heard of that, yeah.
Corey reached out through NCSA, and then I got a DM on Instagram from i2i.
Oh, that's me then.
So then I kind of got in touch with Corey then, and then Michael Tufankyan, he was at York, So we knew them, and then, yeah. So I asked questions, and then
That leads me on perfectly to my next question. It's actually about Michael Tuffin Keaton. Obviously, you said you spoke to him about the program, but what did he say?
I asked him majority about like how was the program, how are the people, and how was basically his first year and being homesick. And his response was great. It was like he was like, the people are great. You do feel like a family. The program's amazing. You get you really get an experience through football and all of that. And then when it came to being homesick in my first year, he said that yes, you are going to be homesick, and he was right. First year's hard, but it's definitely a lot easier because there's other people that are going through the same thing around. And yeah, I mean, you just have each other, and it's how you get through it.
So once you arrived in England and got to Newcastle, how did you find the settling in process for the first couple of weeks?
I was definitely very excited about coming to Newcastle and starting to play football. I came, I believe, a week and a half after because of my visa. So when I got there, everyone was already they already kind of knew each other. They've already like gone out and all of that. So me coming in, like, I heard a bunch of things and a bunch of stories that have happened so far. So it was definitely something different, and I felt kind of like out of place coming in. But then like a day or two after, I felt fine and felt normal. It's definitely different from American dorms and all of that. So definitely very different from American experience.
And in terms of the education side of things, then, how do you find studying at Northumbria University?
Oh, I love it. Especially the courses, how we jump straight into our major instead of having GEs that we have in the States. And then how it's a 3-year and then instead of a 4-year. That's definitely keeping me motivated, because then I can be like, oh, I graduated before you. And then the workload isn't that heavy. So, I mean, it's doable, but if you keep it to last minute, then it will be heavy. But definitely balancing football and school was hard at first, but it's gotten a lot better.
Looking at on the pitch, then you had a bit of a different story. It took a while before you were able to play your first game for i2i. Obviously, you joined the program when you were still 17, just before turning 18 in November. How did you find those first couple of months? I imagine it was really frustrating not being able to play the first few weeks.
Yeah, it was brutal watching everyone play, and I couldn't play, and everyone kept telling me, okay, just a couple more months, and like, no, like it was the hardest thing to do. It was really hard.
But you must have been so happy when you finally did get that chance to officially play.
Yeah, and it was on my birthday, and it was such a good feeling to play.
And didn't you score on your birthday? Is that right?
I did. I scored twice.
Yeah, nice. And once you got stuck into the training sessions as the weeks and months passed by, how would you rate the training sessions compared to kind of what you've had previously in the States?
So we had Stu at first before we had Chris. And Stu's sessions were amazing. They were very technical, and they were very different from what you would experience in the States. And then we had Chris along. We had Chris come, and his sessions were just insane. I looked forward to every training session every single day, because they were just different every time. And we worked on what we would usually do in a game. So it wasn't like when we played, it was nothing with a surprise. So I feel like in the States, it's more, let's just train to train, and there's no purpose of training. Whereas in England, I trained for a purpose, and it was for my development and all of that. So.
Yeah, you mentioned Chris there. How much have you enjoyed working with him in your first year?
He's gonna be very happy when I say this.
I was going to say, how much has he paid you for this?
But I loved working with him. I loved being his player, and I can't wait to be his player again and learn more and more from him.
Again, I don't want to blow too much smoke up his air, but what makes Chris a good coach in your opinion then?
His training sessions on the field are as I said, like untouchable. Like they're insane. But he puts as much as work as he does on the field as like off the field. So we have like pre-game analysis and then we have post-game analysis. Our pre-game analysis, he has like diagrams where it's like last touch and then finish and then goals against, like from where. It's completely insane. He treats us like professional players and what we deserve to be treated as. So.
And you girls seem to have a fantastic relationship with him on and off the pitch. How important do you think it is to kind of enjoy your time on this program as well as work hard and take things seriously?
I think girls in general are kind of like, we could be complicated sometimes, but at the end of the day, we're, I guess, all sisters in a way because we all play on the same team. We see each other every day. And especially having the connection that we have with our coach, I think it brings a different kind of chemistry on the field. So yeah, and then balancing that social life with your football life, and yeah, there's all of that too.
I always ask this question to our guests, and it may be a difficult one to answer, but can you see kind of improvement in your game after the first year of training and playing?
Oh yeah, I have. I definitely have. I've learned a lot of things about myself that I didn't know when I first started, not only in football, but in life in general. So I think learning that stuff about myself in life has really made myself a little more confident in my football aspect of life. So there's definitely very much improvement.
We briefly touched on your family a little bit earlier, but they actually came to visit you in Newcastle, didn't they? Earlier on last year. What did they make of England and Newcastle?
They thought it was very cold. They came around November, and then
cold.
They came back, and then they came back in April. So it was cold, very cold for them. In November, but they loved it. They love the city. They love the people. So
good stuff. So looking at your first season as a whole then, I mean, it's been a pretty impressive one, narrowly missing out on the league on the final day and obviously the cup getting to the semi-final. How would you rate it?
I wouldn't change it for the world. Even though we got second and even though we didn't make it, like we lost our first cup, but then we got put in the second cup and reached to semifinals. I wouldn't change it for the world. It was crazy. It was a roller coaster of emotions, roller coaster of games, roller coaster of all of it. But it was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and we learned from it and we grow, and next year will be better. So
yeah, obviously you girls want to win every game, but it must give you a massive amount of confidence that in your very first season you finished just a point behind the eventual champions in the league.
Yes, that was huge.
And obviously, being the first year of our women's program, how special is it that you are going to be in history for the i2i women's program, being that first ever cohort?
It's pretty insane. I guess I've never thought of like being history, I guess. But we've always told ourselves that we need to make a statement our first year, just so for women that are going to join i2i later, just to start things off with a bang, and kind of keep it at that level for everyone else. So.
And what was your favorite game to play in last season then?
Oh wow.
Tough one.
Oh wow.
Put you on the spot.
That is hard. Wow. I guess we had our friendly with Walls End. That was fun to play. Playing against Durham in our the NYFL, that was a fun game. I mean, playing against Huddersfield when we tied 2-2, that was an intense game, but I mean, unfortunately we tied, but
Yeah,
that was a fun, intense game. There's so many games. I can't even, yeah.
they're all blur into one.
Yeah.
We can't not mention Hannah Collins, obviously one of your teammates, but already a best friend. I mean, did you ever think you'd find someone like that so quickly on this program?
I actually didn't. Me and Hannah, I DM'd her on Instagram, and we kind of just hit it off from there, and then we kind of added each other on Snapchat, and then we were talking like we already knew each other for like 3 years. And then when I got there, I saw her and I felt like I already knew her, and then I guess we just hit it off, and now we're closest.
And how important is it to form those friendships on this program? Like I said, when you are homesick, you can kind of turn to your closest friends and speak to them about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a different friendship than what I used to have or what I have in the States. But I would take that kind of friendship over any friendship. Not like, because she kind of went through the same thing that I did. All the girls did. They went through the same thing I did. And experiencing and doing that all together brings you closer than what other people do. I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, I get that. Moving on then, TVENE, I wanted to ask you about your international exploits now. Obviously, you've represented Armenia under 19s on a number of occasions.
yes.
What is it like to go on international duty?
It's crazy. You play with pride, you play with honor, you play with your country with your back. Unfortunately, this last tournament I got injured, so I didn't play in the games. But that was my last tournament with U19, so that sucked. But playing with your country is a different feeling than just playing. Standing there and singing your national anthem, you feel some type of way when you play. You play with more pride. You play with more, like, I don't know, like, especially what your country has been through. It's a different feeling.
And how determined are you to go on and potentially one day represent Armenia's full women's team?
I am so determined. I am so ready to play for the senior team. I am doing my best, and because this September, I don't think it's gonna happen, but we have World Cup qualifiers for the women's. And I was trying to get on that, but I don't think, like, to get called up for that, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So hopefully in April or May, I get called up. So I'm just gonna grind until then.
Now I'm assuming here, so again, correct me if I'm wrong, but would I be right in saying that you can potentially represent Armenia and the USA? Is that right?
I'm not sure if I can. I don't know if I could play for two teams. I don't think I can. But like, US could ask to invite me, and then I believe I would have to leave Armenia to go play with them.
So are you fully devoted to Armenia then at the minute?
I'm not sure.
Keep your cards close to your chest.
Right now, I'm with Armenia.
Good stuff. Looking ahead to your second year with i2i then, TVENE, how much are you looking forward to getting back into the swing of things in September?
Oh, I can't wait. I am so excited. I'm excited for the new girls coming. I'm excited to see everyone else. I'm excited to see Chris. I'm excited to see Kieran. I'm excited to see everyone, Stu, Brysa. I can't wait.
And like you mentioned the new girls then, how excited are you to welcome a new group of girls to the squad? Because obviously it's never happened before. You've been one squad that started and now you're welcoming new girls into the squad. So that's pretty exciting to kind of freshen up a little bit.
It is. It is very exciting. Obviously, we had sometimes a lack of players on our team because people would be injured, people would be sick. So it was very hard to put an 11 on the field. So with all these new girls coming, it'll bring definitely competition, and we'll have obviously an easier time to put 11 on the field. But I'm excited.
So to finish off, TVENE, we've got some questions for you submitted from Instagram. Now I'm sure you can guess who sent in some of them, but we'll get to that in a minute. The first one though is from an incoming first year, actually, Angela Gonzalez. She wants to know if you've had any hardships in your first year. Kind of, what's been the toughest moments?
Some of the hardest moments is adapting, and then getting homesick, and then I mean, past couple of months, like towards the end, was pretty hard for me, because I don't know, like everything was going on. I was starting to become a little more mental. So I think just staying in the right mindset and staying focused is the best way to get through it all.
Obviously, Hannah's asked a few questions. I haven't put them all in because there was a few. But she asked, what's your favourite memory from your first year been? Again, another difficult question.
That is hard. I think one of the best memories is probably going down to London and playing against Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great memory. Another one was probably going down to Middlesbrough and playing, like training there, and then going to watch the Lionesses play. And yeah, that was another good memory. Oh, there's so many.
Not meeting Hannah, is that not one of them? That's what she'd be after.
That was a good memory as well.
Now, she also asked if you were stranded on a desert island, you can only bring one person, who is it and why? But I'm not going to ask that. And yeah, she also asked who your bestie is as well, but we can leave those ones, I think. Coach Chris actually asked a question. He wants to know what your ambitions personally and collectively are for the upcoming season.
Damn, that is such a good
Trying to catch you out here.
Yeah. I guess my goals are obviously like to become a professional player. Through i2i, my goal is to make a difference. As a person is probably to make women's teams stand out more through Armenia, through i2i, through like whatever I can, and obviously develop as a person and a player. So.
And Chris also asked who your favourite coach is and why, but again, I think that's a bit of a loaded question. I think he knows what he's doing with that one. I won't let you answer it. We'll say Chris.
Sure.
So that'll just about do it for today's episode, TVENE. Again, thank you very much for joining us on the i2i podcast. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And good luck for the upcoming season. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, TVENE.